It's evident which side has the most rotten apples, right? As I'm watching some of these people talk on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, I said, yo, y'all not that evil, are y'all? Y'all not. Ain't no way y'all are that evil. And I'm like, yo, I'm watching each tweet. I'm just seeing the hellfire get higher and higher and higher. They speaking on being grateful that a man lost his life, no longer able to see his kids because of what he said about the Second Amendment. First and foremost, out the gate with the video. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace, bro. You did a lot. You did a lot for the culture of independent journalism. You did a lot for the culture of independent journalism. Regardless of how you feel about his views on politics, his views on gun control, his views on anything he has ever debated on that stage, man, you know what? Skip all that. A lot of y'all are cowards. And I mean that in the most disrespectful way ever that I could ever think of. Y'all, like, half of y'all that's talking all that shit on Twitter, y'all wouldn't have the balls to step up to that man and debate him. Y'all wouldn't have the balls. He died a legend. When they catch his killer, he's gonna die a coward. That's period. I see that people talking about they making all types of jokes with him supporting the Second Amendment. Do you know that the Second Amendment is literally the only thing that's stopping a tyrannical government from taking complete and utter control of your freedom? Look at Venezuela. Look at what other third world country there is where the people don't have guns and the government has all the guns. They're the poorest. They're the most freedomless people within that society. There is many examples of it. Venezuela is the one that comes up at the top of my head right now. Y'all want guns to get taken off the street or gun control. Did you know that the states that have gun control or the strictest gun laws, did you know that those states have the most violence, the most gun violence? Did y'all know that? I bet you didn't know that. 90% of y'all haven't read a book, a full 300-page book in the past 5 years. This is a fact. So, when I'm seeing people bash Charlie Kirk, I'm seeing them bash him. I'm willing to bet 80% of them haven't seen a full debate of Charlie Kirk. All they saw was a bunch of sound bites and clips from their favorite leftist liberal to take his words and take his point out of context. I'm not even angry or filled with anger. I just look at y'all like a lot of my people too. A lot of people that may say we related because we look alike, because we black, because we got a darker tint, because we might have the same tint. Nah, y'all are not my people, man. Your hearts and your character is what makes us similar, not our skin color. I could care less about your skin color. There's some people that look just like me that have betrayed me way worse than the guy that looks way paler than me. That guy that betrayed me that looks like me, I could never call him my brother. The guy that is from a different culture, different background, got the same heart, he has the potential for me to call him my brother. Period. I don't care how you feel about it. Regardless to what, whether you like Charlie Kirk or not, after yesterday, September 10th, he has left a mark, a unerasable mark within the game of podcasting, within the game of journalism, within the game of debating people, no matter if they have a bias, don't have a bias, it doesn't matter. He went through all types of college campuses around the United States. He even visited outside the country, talked to a whole room full of leftist students completely against his ideas, his thoughts, his opinions. He debates, he'll debate people for hours. He'll debate people for however long it takes. He might even change some people's minds at the end of the debate. Before the 2024 election, he was one of the sole spearheads and one of the sole reasons why the election in 2024 turned out the way it turned out. I remember that night I'm watching the election on in 2024, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I'm watching the election, couldn't go to sleep because I knew what would come. I knew what would come if the election went the other way. My opinions on politics, I could care less how a person looks. How you look is the last thing I'm thinking about, like literally. When I walk through in life, whether I'm in a restaurant, whether I'm at the gym, it doesn't matter where I'm at. When I see people, I read energy first. When I walk into a room, I read energy first. Yes, I see color, but I don't think about it. I don't think about what propaganda or biasness that a media personality, a podcaster, whoever trying to get me to be a victim and think about the victimhood of whatever my allegedly ancestors, which I don't even think a lot of them slaves were my ancestors. We came from the Caribbean. My people came from the Caribbean. I don't know anything about if they were slaves or not. Maybe they were. I don't know. I don't know the history. But in my current life, in the modern times, my current life, I have not experienced slavery. I have not experienced police brutality. I wasn't the kid out there getting into trouble all the time. I wasn't that guy. I was doing my thing. I had great mentors, great parents. Yeah, I played a little bit outside. I got into a little bit of trouble, but it wasn't enough trouble to get into the the eyes of the law. And if you're out there getting in trouble with the eyes of the law and you run into a bad situation, a discriminatory situation, if you're doing the crime and you run into a white man or whoever seeing you do a crime, you put yourself in that situation. He ain't put you in that situation. You shouldn't have been out there doing that. But that's my opinion. Somebody else might come and be like, oh, he was poor, so he had to go, do crime. Everybody has a choice. I'm not into the victim Olympics. That's not my game. My game ain't the victim Olympics. Weak people play in the victim Olympics. We don't go over there. We got muscles. We got beards. We got testosterone in our blood. We don't play over there in the victim Olympics. I never like playing with the victims, ever. You understand? Never like playing with them. A victim. Listen, man. I'll never, ever call myself a victim in this world. In this world, the strong survive. In this world, the strong survive. The smart survives. The vigilant survives. The victim gets ignored. In this world, do you not see things in the macro? Look at the world. Just really look at the world. Excuse the background. I just came from a very enlightening trip to up north Jersey, and then I was in New York for a little bit. I was in New York a couple days ago. See the suitcase in the back? Uh I did not take out all the stuff out of it yet. Went to New York. First I was in Jersey. Energy beautiful in there. Beautiful Jersey. Right? I'm stepping in. I see. You ever seen the show Riverdale? I stepping into my Airbnb with somebody, good friend of mine. I'm in there. I'm outside. I'm like, yo, the energy feels so pure, so good here. Like it just feels so light. The energy feels light. It feels homely. It feels, yo, I could just go to a neighbor's house and ask for sugar or a piece of apple pie over here. Huh? I could just go over there. I could just, you know what I mean? There's a campus over there. It was like a high school campus. Kids was just out there chilling, riding bikes. White people walking dogs. We going to a restaurant. There ain't too many black people out there. I seen a couple, but I wasn't worried because my energy wasn't even on it. My energy was, what's up? How y'all doing? Carry myself with respect, giving everybody there with respect. Give all the waitresses, waiters respect when I walk into the restaurant, saying hi. Being civilized, right? I walk into this shop with my friend called The Corner. I walk in there. Service was beautiful. Food was great. Everything in there was great. I didn't get weird looks, and if I did, I ignored them because that's not what I'm on. I'm not looking for somebody who thinks, yo, he's black. Why is he here? My energy ain't on that. And if my energy ain't on that, I don't attract that. I attract myself. I kept myself and respected myself as a man. I walked in there like a man. I didn't walk in there like just some guy with some type of resentment because of what some race did to my people allegedly. These people in here, 40, 50 years old and under, they had they don't have that history. Maybe their grandparents did. Guess what? I don't care. I'm not thinking about that. I'm carrying myself in there like a man, treating everybody like a man. I'm not treating people by their skin color. That's called racism. Right? So boom, we in there. Great energy. I'm taking the New Jersey Transit with a friend of mine. Even the energy on the train, on the New Jersey Transit, the energy was different. It was cleaner, no piss everywhere, no people doing weird shit on the on the subway. Nobody dancing, nobody laying on the floor doing weird shit, no roaches, no rats, none of that. Right? No roaches, no rats, none of that. I walk in, um, we finally make it to New York. We finally make it to New York. I'm getting to my point. Just hold on. I finally make it to New York. The energy, the energy was automatically dense, dark, different, much heavier than when I was in Jersey and Montclair. The hustle, you seeing people walking around, all you see in their eyes is anxiety, maybe even fear, stress, poverty. Poverty. I'm walking around with my friend. She's very she's very clear sentient. She's very um empathetic. She's very sensitive to the energies around her. Maybe perhaps more sensitive to me than me because she's a woman, right? So I get there to go to a museum. We walk into the museum. She's having a little trouble. She's going through something. She's cramping a little bit. Sorry to say this, love. If you ever watch this podcast, I don't mean to spread your business. Your name shall remain nameless in this podcast. Trust me. So we walking into the Chase Morgan Museum, me and her. We walking in. Beautiful museum. A lot of historical pieces, books that you can't touch is behind walls. We walking in. She gotta step out. She gotta step out the museum. She gotta step out of a certain room in the museum. Really, all the rooms when we walk in, and we gotta sit down because she's feeling stomach pain, bad pain. Mind you, she's 10 days before her period, and she has her period on her birthday. Me understanding the energies of the universe and the level that I'm at now, which I don't think I'm a master at that, but I think I'm at a pretty good level, intermediate level. My antennas are pretty strong when it comes to this. Even though it was very odd that something like that happened to her 10 days before. When you understand numbers and the things that's going on within the stars and the planets, I wasn't really surprised, but I was prepared. So we had to get out of we had to get out of this museum. We had to step out. We had to go back home. We step out the museum. We go in the front. She has to wait. She has to stop. The pain is too great. The pain is too great. Her cramping up. The pain is too great. Of course, me being there and being the leader figure, maybe a father figure to some, being the man that I am, I stepped up. I said, yo, I'm going to get this lady out of New York and back into the hotel safe and sound, back into the Airbnb safe and sound, even though she is suffering right now. So I wait until the pain subsides a little bit so we can walk. 24 minutes until the next train at Penn Station in New Jersey Transit to get back to Montclair. We had 24 minutes. It was 5 something. We had 24 minutes till that next train. We waited about 5 minutes. Boom. Waited about 5 minutes. She had enough strength to get up. We like, yo, alright, I'm gonna try to get you to the bathroom. We walking around all these people. We in New York around all these people. In my brain, I'm thinking of 90 things at one time. So while I'm in this place on a mission to get her to the bathroom before we walk to Penn Station, before we walk to the New Jersey Transit, I'm thinking, I'm looking at all these people as I'm walking. I said, yo, there is nothing happy about this. There is no happy people here. There is no, um, it doesn't feel like there's hope here. Hope is kind of gone here in these people's eyes. These people's eyes have lost the spark. There's a spark that's between your eye that only shows up when you're full of hope, full of excitement, full of life. In New York, I didn't see that. Even though I'm from there, I didn't see that hope, that spark that once was abundant in the city at some point. Or maybe it never was really that abundant because my eyes were different back then. My antenna was much different back then. My entire thought patterns, how I think, how I visualize, imagine, problem solve, critically think, everything was much different back then when I lived in New York. I'm walking around as I get lost in my thoughts on the way to Penn Station. She reminds me, yo, don't forget we gotta go to the bathroom. Right? We gotta go to the bathroom. So cool. We heads to the bathroom. I go into a bar, just a bar just section off. It was all white people in there. I thought first thing I thought was something I never do. I don't know why I thought this. I was like, yo, there's a whole bunch of white people in there. Let me not go in there. Then I was like, hold on. That's not how I think. I don't think like this. I think these people are human. Let's appeal to their human side. Right? They're just like me. They got a heartbeat. They bleed. Hopefully they got, some empathy. So I walk up. I go in there. I say, yo, this friend of mine, she needs to use the bathroom. She's cramping, so she got some trouble going on. She's like, cool, just go and use that bathroom. I say, fine, good. She goes to the bathroom, boom, goes out. Still at a danger level as far as her not making it to the bathroom. And I'm thinking, what if I had these type of thoughts that some of my counterparts that may look at me would have succumbed to if I didn't, just go to that bathroom, just ask them, just talk, and succumb to maybe these white people in this room don't like me. Such, uh, such suppressing thoughts, such limiting thoughts. Something I don't do. But a lot of y'all on this internet, on X, a lot of y'all think like that. A lot of y'all have that very destructive mindset, a mindset that I have purified myself from and will never go back to. So when I seen the death of Charlie Kirk happen, I was like, okay, now I know who my people are for real. And I'm gonna vet people. I'm gonna ask people what y'all think about what happened with Charlie Kirk. And depending on what their answer is whether I associate myself with them or not, or just put them in a box, be cordial. But y'all are not people that I really vibe with. We not a tribe. Y'all not a part of my tribe. You understand? So back to the story. Um, we in the hustle and bustle of Manhattan. The hustle and bustle, so many people, waves of people, waves of it. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, he spoke on politics, right? And I'm thinking about Zoran Mamdani. I seen a video that Charlie Kirk spoke on Zoran, socialism, him potentially being a mayor of New York, which is doomsday for New York, I must say. It's doomsday for New York, right? That's my personal belief. At the same time, with Zoran, he was birthed. His uprise, his rising has been birthed by what has been neglected in New York for so long. You got high prices, high cost of living, not many jobs, um, politicians taking advantage of poverty and saying that we're gonna make these programs for these people, and you pocket most of the money and then you give the little crumbs to the actual program that was supposed to help the people. New York is a lost land, I must say. I'm gonna keep it 100. Their ideals and mindsets have been poisoned by their way of living, their politicians, uh, the schools that have been teaching them, the culture, really, the urban culture, the culture of listening to rappers that make their ways out the hood. They get big houses in hot places. They get big houses in hot places. Then they come back to the hood and glorify it. They don't come back to the hood and send the right messages. They still glorify the street culture, the gang culture, the things that don't do nothing for us black people. But we constantly make this type of culture cool. We constantly glorify it. We constantly buy the music. We constantly try to live the music when it's just art. But these rappers, they keep telling us to live it. These rappers keep telling us to not snitch. These rappers keep telling us, especially from New York, you know, don't tell. Be a real nigga. Right? The culture is what's holding us back. These same artists and rappers will tell you to go vote for the Democrat, to go vote for the drunk that went against Donald Trump. Bad policies, uh, not respected by no one. No leader respected Kamala Harris. None. I read her policies. I seen how she moved in the interviews. I seen everything. I was like, yo, nah, this ain't for me. Zoran Mamdani in New York. Nah, that ain't for New York. But I think New York needs a wake up call. When I was walking through in New York, completing my mission to get this girl back to the Airbnb safely, a lot of things go through my head at the same time because the processing speed of my brain is much faster than the normal human being, right? It's much faster than the normal human being. So I'm thinking about three, four, five things at the same time, big things. I'm like, yo, maybe Zoran Mamdani would be the wake up call for this city, right? Maybe he would be the wake up call for New York. New York seems like they need somebody to remind them that you have a lot more to lose than you think. This guy is going to cause a mass exodus in New York. He's going to cause a mass awakening in New York. Y'all need to know what it's like to be at your last, your very last leg. And Zoran will put that there. I don't wish it on y'all, but I think y'all need a hard lesson. Just the way y'all think. Like Charlie Kirk died on the 10th of September. Today is the 11th. Um Also, I would like to give my respects to the people who've lost their lives at the World Trade Center, September 11th. World Trade Centers. The people who was affected by those who died. The people that was traumatized by the whole experience. My prayers go out to y'all. Sincerely. Right? Sincerely. this guy Charlie Kirk, he goes away. People I know from New York was saying things that maybe I was disappointed because they were my friends, but then I realized where they're from and where they're still at. They're at a town where everybody thinks one way, the same way. Most of them been thinking that way. They still think, yo, the liberals, the Democrats have some type of inkling of goodness left in them. Yeah, I'm gonna say to you the same cop out that everybody else says, yo, uh, both sides have bad in them, but today, at this current time, it's more evident which side has the most rotten apples. It's evident which side has the most rotten apples, right? As I'm watching some of these people talk on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, I said, yo, y'all not that evil, all y'all. Y'all not. Ain't no way y'all are that evil. And I'm like, yo, I'm watching each tweet. I'm just seeing the hellfire get higher and higher and higher. They speaking on being grateful that a man lost his life, no longer able to see his kids because of what he said about the Second Amendment. Oh, a lot of y'all wouldn't have the balls to go and debate somebody, to go and debate hundreds and thousands of people at one time. Y'all wouldn't have the balls to go to a place that completely was against your opinions and views. A lot of y'all are pussies. This guy is tougher than 90%, 95, 99% of the people I seen talking shit on X. Maybe even all of them. Right? Y'all got some nerve, man. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Again. But the views that I heard from people close to me didn't surprise me. I was like, yeah, I would expect you to say that. You sound insane. And I didn't even argue. I just said, yo, we'll just agree to disagree. And anything political, politics wise, I don't have to put any sort of value on at this point. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? We put people in categories of our lives. Every friend that we got is placed in a certain category, in certain boxes, and there's certain levels of clearance that each associate, family member, colleague, friend has in our lives. And it's okay to separate. That's cool. So I finally make it to New Jersey Transit again with 2 minutes left. The train was already there by the time we got there. Right? Already there by the time we got there. It's like, yo, can we make it? Are we gonna make it? We made it. A lot of weird things was going on that day. I'm seeing the angels talk to me, sending me synchronization, sending me codes. Y'all don't know too much about this. Maybe y'all do. Shout out to the ones that understand how to speak the code in the language of the angels. They speak in synchronizations. They speak in numbers. They speak in signs. So I knew I was gonna make it that day. I ain't know how. I made it with 1 minute left on the buzzer. We get on the train. We get back to Montclair. This is the funny thing that happens. We get back to Montclair on the 9th of September. Charlie Kirk dies the day after. We get there on the 9th of September. I mean, everything that happened that occurred when I was in Montclair, New York, That whole event happened on the 9th, 9/9/2025. All nines, the year of the nine. And her birthday's the 9th, right? We get there. Obviously, her antennas are stronger than ever. So we get off the train to Montclair. Her energy and the denseness and the pain that she was feeling went away by 70% at least. And we have a discussion like, yo, that's crazy, right? How that works. You are all better now, really. So my brain goes, oh man, um, that doesn't sound too good for New York. That doesn't sound too good for my city. That this person that I know that have strong antennas, this is gonna cause me to make conclusions. It's like, yo, this city, the denseness of that energy, something is wrong with the city. And how this universe works, something has to rebalance out that energy and get it back to agreeable terms. Maybe Mamdani is that guy that will do it. I'm not saying he's gonna help y'all out. I'm saying he's gonna wake y'all up. Y'all need that wake up call. Eric Adams needs that wake up call. Andrew Cuomo needs that wake up call. The liberals, the liberal dudes and the uh, um people of the state of New York, they need that wake up call. They need to understand that money doesn't fall from trees. You gotta have a real system, a real plan behind what you're talking about, and educate yourself. Socialism has never worked. Charlie Kirk preached that about Mamdani. Socialism has never worked, ever. Don't rely on that Charlemagne the God or Joe Budden or any of these liberal dudes that never been activists, say they're activists, have never done nothing for their city. They're not activists, they're actors. They're podcasters. That's all they are. Okay? They've never done nothing for their city, but they have a big voice on a big mic telling you, you need to go vote for this one and that one. They're not educated. They don't want to be educated because there are brainwashing tools for a certain side of the wing, the certain side of the eagle that we all talk about. I don't even like having the same arguments with people. I like to have new arguments. I don't like saying left wing, right wing, same bird. That's too shallow of an argument. Let's really debate. Let's really talk. That's what Charlie Kirk spoke on. He said, yo, let's debate on anything you want to talk about. I'm going to have my facts. You better have yours. And let's go. Let's pay each other respect. Let's argue. Let's debate. Let's shake hands and go home. On the 10th of September, he did not get a chance to go home alive. His message was always, let's have a conversation. That was his only message, right? So after September 11th, today, there's still people talking crazy. I don't know if they're all real people too. Some of those people are just AIs and bots, but still, there's gonna be a change, right? There's gonna be a change in circles, in my circle, um, in many other people's circle, and there's gonna be an uprising of millions of Charlie Kirks that will scream the same message. Let's have an open discussion. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Right? Let's talk about it. And then let's go home to our families. That's it. That's all I gotta say about the situation. But yo, man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I got into a whole rant. I really wasn't gonna talk today. My energy has been off. Not really because of the Charlie Kirk situation. My energy just been off. New Jersey has taken a toll on me. I even been playing the game for real like that. But yo, listen, thank you for watching another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations, man. Uh, check out the podcast on every single podcast platform. Check me out on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, man. Uh, make sure y'all send y'all love and respect to Charlie Kirk if he impacted your life in any way. Make sure you send your love and prayers to his family. I would never want to see that happen to anybody, especially if you just up there talking, you just having a conversation. Like, oh, and I wish the worst for his shooter and the people that pushed that shooter to go do that. I wish the worst for y'all. I don't even, just the worst. You deserve the worst of the worst. I'm out of here though.